let's straight get to the point, and I would straight away throw the question to DIG, Mr. Ajith Rohana. Yeah. I've been listening to some of your clip, and I was so happy to hear that you have experience from 90 countries. I don't think we had a DIG with an experience coming up from 90 countries. And you are talking of attitude of people. And I think this part of the nation, attitude counts a lot. So I wonder whether the COVID had changed the attitude of people. If not, what will, and will we have another chance? So I would like to have your response on that.
Good evening. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So as a member of the main law enforcement agency of Sri Lanka, so I would like to express my sincere appreciations to the organizers of this webinar for giving this opportunity to Sri Lanka Police. So the question that was raised by the moderator is is there an attitudinal change in respect of COVID-19 or post-COVID-19 period? As you all know, the first COVID positive patient was found on the 27th of January 2020 as a Chinese national. Then thereafter, the first COVID positive Sri Lankan patient was found on the 11th of March 2020, I mean 2.5 months back. And now we have completed almost 3 months after the inception of this particular COVID-19 concept in Sri Lanka. So during this period, so what we have achieved or what we had lost. I have some examples in respect of COVID-19 scenario. The first example is that I think we had a meeting on the 4th or 5th of April 2020, 2 months back, and we were discussing about this PCR test. So at that time, generally the doctors or the experts in the field, they insisted to increase PCR test. At least they insisted to do PCR at least for 1,500 tests per day. Then there was a problem arisen. Dr. Pabha Paliyavadna, the additional Director General of Health Services, and she said that yes, we have machines, we have the staff, we have experts, but we are having a problem. So what is the problem? We don't have subs. We don't have subs because in our hand now we have 1,700 subs. So if we are going to conduct this type of PCR test, so in 2 days time, so it is exhausted. So therefore, what is the remedy? Then we were discussing, so we need to import PCR subs from China. Then the airport is closed. So how do we get these subs? Then Admiral Jayanath Columbage, Additional Secretary to the President, he said that okay, so if it is available in the market, yes, a special flight would be flown to China and we can get this thing. But the problem is it takes time. The flight should be sent there, then thereafter, then somebody said that the doctors now they are not going to sell their products because they need it. An engineer, and apart from that, one of the experts in the field, so he stood up and he said that no, give me 2 days time. Give me 2 days time and I can make some experiment and I'll let you know. I believe he's called Manju Gunawardana. He said that I believe that we would be able to make this subs in Sri Lanka. So in 2 days time for the next meeting, he came and he said that don't worry. We can make these subs in Sri Lanka. So give me another 2 days. And on the following day, he came with 2,000 shops. So therefore, but I mean, from the inception, for a period of 30 years time, we never made this type of inventions in Sri Lanka. But within 2 days time, the necessity came, and we were able to produce, we were able to manufacture this particular product in Sri Lanka. Now it is being manufactured, and we don't have a dearth in respect of shops. So these type of changes, sudden changes, attitudinal changes had occurred in the post-COVID-19 period. And in addition to that, we observed that especially our community policing police officers during the curfew period, they visited various areas, especially rural areas. So the people, the farmers, the villagers, they were starting cultivation, chili, many yams, many types of crops they were trying to cultivate. So therefore, I believe that, I mean, after this COVID-19 concept, COVID-19 scenario, so our attitudes, I mean, partly the attitudes of Sri Lankan have been changed. So every time we were thinking of ships that are coming to Colombo Fort or Trincomalee Port, and every time if the ships is getting late, so we were losing everything. But now the time, the attitudes, so everything has been changed. Now we have a productive mind, and it has been inculcated in the minds of Sri Lankan citizens.
Great to hear. At least the virus is now changing our attitude, and let's hope we move from positive to greater heights. So now we see a lot of digitalization with the pandemic. So I just like to know whether the digitalization process is taking place with the Sri Lankan police. For example, can I dream of a day where I pay the spot fine using my credit card? Or will there be digital identification of driving licenses? What are your views for the future and digitalization in the area that you are serving at the moment?
Yes, thank you for the question. And initially in year 2011, Sri Lanka police accepted and initiated the concept of digitalization, especially at the inception of our print between 1904. So from 1904 for a period of 110 years, we had manual fingerprinted forms. So the fingers, they take all these, and we have been keeping the forms for 100 years. But in year 2011, with the leadership of this present president, at that time he was the Secretary Defense, His Excellency the President. So he had instructed the Inspector General to initiate a system. Then thereafter, I mean, with the support of Colombo University, we were able to introduce this fingerprint system, electronic fingerprint system, and we had approximately 200,000 fingerprint forms. Manually, we checked since 1904 to 2011. Then thereafter, we were able to change that particular system. Now we have electronic automated fingerprint system, and if we follow the earlier system, the conventional system, to check a fingerprint or palm or thumb print from the recorded prints, so it took at least fortnight period, 2 weeks period. But now within a period of 1 minute, so we can check all these fingerprints and whether it is tallied with the criminal suspected persons or not. So that is the initial steps that Sri Lankan police had taken in 2011. Then thereafter, Sri Lankan police had expanded the system by introducing VPN to all police stations. So at the moment we have 493 police stations throughout the country, and every and each police station has a VPN unit, virtual personal network, as you all know. So in seconds from police headquarters, we can convey our messages, regulations, police regulations, curfew messages, everything to local police station. And apart from that, so generally approximately 1,000 to 1,500 suspects are arrested daily by the police stations throughout the country, and we collect all the information, all the modus operandi of the suspects, the name, then the description, the other activities that they have involved, the criminal activities, everything. So now we have a system, digital forms, and that particular police station, they should fill it electronically, and our CRB, Criminal Records Division, the Fingerprint Bureau, they receive those forms electronically regularly. So we have that system. Apart from that, as you mentioned, so we initiated a new system after COVID-19 concept, after the 11th of March. So what was the system that we introduced? This WhatsApp message system. We created a WhatsApp system, and every time if the police headquarters takes a decision in respect of COVID-19 or the quarantine curfew or regulation or restriction of movement or arrest, to arrest of a suspect, so that messages are conveyed to all officers in charge of police stations, all the DIGs, all the senior DIGs, all the superintendents, so assistant superintendents, through the WhatsApp. So it was very successful method, because so sometimes if we are going to use this conventional method, so it is going to one of our communication centers throughout the country. We have 9 communication centers. So via that communication center, that message is going to the police book. So the one of our telephone operators, they need to manually write the message. But after this COVID-19, now we use WhatsApp system, and immediately in seconds that the receiver receives the message. And as you mentioned, this electronic spot fine payment system, yes, this particular system was initiated. To establish this particular system, it was initiated in 2013, but now we are in the process of introducing this system. Not only the electronic spot fine payment system, but also electronic driving license system. This particular 2 systems are going together, because if a person has committed an offense, so at the moment we have manual driving license. So if that particular person is detected by PETA police, let's say that he has violated road rules, so cutting the line, or at the signal light point, so he has passed the signal light, by disobeying red lights. So that type of offenses that they can commit. But then they pay that money, 5,000 or 2,000, irrelevant of that particular amount. Apart from that, we need to enter that particular fine to his driving license. And at the moment, we don't have a system, because a manual small book is there, but many of you don't use it, and we don't use it. But now we are going to introduce this system along with ICTA, and especially if a person has, this is called demerit mark system. If a person has committed a traffic offense, so automatically it is entered his driving license into the chip. Then it doesn't matter. So he is detected. Let's say he starts from PETA and going to Kandy. So at PETA he has committed a traffic offense. So he is given 8 marks. 8 or 6 marks, there is a marking system there. So it is inserted to the driving license, and the driving license is given to him by the police cop who is on the road, by using that special instrument. Then he is proceeding to Kandy. So let's say at Nittambo, another offense he has committed. Then again he has been given 8 marks. Then now he has already obtained 16 marks. Then when he is reaching, climbing Kadugannawa somewhere, he has committed another offense. Then he has obtained another 8 marks. So from Colombo to Kandy, when he is proceeding, so he has obtained 24 marks. So if that particular, within a period of 1 year, if a person has exceeded 22 marks, so automatically his driving license is cancelled. So the law is there now. The law is in our legal system. An amendment has been brought to the principal enactment of the Motor Traffic Act. And apart from that, all the other relevant laws, gazette notifications have been published, but the infrastructure has not been developed so far. But we are in the process of developing that. So therefore, I believe that in the near future, sometimes, we were thinking of introducing these 2 systems by May, but now after COVID-19, we were not able to do it. But at the end of this year, so definitely we would be able to launch those 2 systems. Number 1, electronic payment system is spot fine. So either by using your mobile phone or using your credit card, or the other system is demerit mark system. Then the road users, the drivers, so they would be disciplined because they know that nowadays, so we don't have a system to calculate all these things, because the Peta police knew that he has committed an offense, but when he goes to Nittambua, so Nittambua police, if they need to check it, so he need to contact Peta police, Paliakoda police, Grand Pass, everything, whether he has committed an offense. So it's a very big problem. So therefore, but once we introduce this particular demerit mark system, so it is beneficial to the country. So the accidents will be curtailed, the traffic congestion will be curtailed, and apart from that, the road users, the drivers, so they will adhere with rules and regulations. So by end of this year, so definitely we would be able to introduce these 2 systems.
Great to hear, DIG. I hope, I'm dreaming of a day where each police post that I pass, where there'll be a day saying so and so passed with the temperature of 36.2, with the driving license with so much of score. I hope that era is not far away. Great to hear that. So this time I would like to share some statistics. We have almost 38,000 accidents per annum, about 8,000 serious injuries, almost 3,000 deaths per year. But I see COVID, which has just taken 11 deaths in Sri Lanka. And as at yesterday, the reported cases were 1,686. But why, or what is your view to avoid such calamity in the society in the future? What are your thoughts on that, sir?
I function as the DIG traffic for a period of 1.5 years. And apart from that, I have been functioning as the DIG legal and the head of the legal of Sri Lanka Police for a period of almost 1.5 years. And I know the gravity of this problem. And apart from that, we have taken considerable measures in order to curtail this particular problem. As you correctly mentioned, approximately 35 to 40,000 accidents are reported annually. But you should keep in your mind that this is not the actual number. So these are the reported number. But according to the statistics of insurance companies, approximately 500,000 accidents happen in Sri Lanka annually. But those accidents are not reported to police stations because sometimes those are vehicle damages or slight minor injuries. So therefore, they are not reporting those accidents to police station. But the actual number is 500,000. But generally, 35,000 to 40,000 cases are reported. And out of that, approximately 3,000 fatal accidents are reported and 15,000 cases are reported in respect of injuries, so the injured persons. So this is the existing accident scenario in our country. But in comparison to other countries, our the fatal accident rate is slightly high. But I mean, if we compare our statistics with South Asian countries, so it is not very high in comparison to India or Bangladesh or Nepal. But in comparison to other countries, slightly it is high. Generally, 8, 9, 10 or 11 persons are killed in road traffic accidents annually. But I mean, during this COVID-19 period, we imposed curfew, then therefore the vehicle movements were restricted and accident have been curtailed. And apart from that, as you all know, there are no vehicles on road, so therefore there is no. So what are the steps that we are going to curtail road traffic accident? So number one, as I mentioned earlier, electronic driving license system along with demerit mark system. So the many countries, they have adopted this system. So this is the best system that in order to avoid road traffic accidents, and apart from that, traffic congestion. Because now, if you have obtained 22 marks according to our existing legal provisions, so and within a period of 12 months, your driving license is cancelled. So therefore, now today, so if you receive thousands of spot fines, so if you pay that fine tickets, so your driving license is not cancelled unless it is an offence of drunk driving or fatal accident or any dangerous driving. But slight offences, I mean cutting the line or passing color lights, signal lights, disobeying road signs or parking in a wrong place. So these offences are committed by the drivers and they obtain spot fines, they pay it, but their driving license is not cancelled. But if we are going to implement this particular system, so definitely the most of the drivers I know, they will adhere with the system, because otherwise their driving license is cancelled. This is, and on the other hand, as you all know, in our country, we have our public transportation system is, you know, unbelievable system, I can say, because there is a competition. There is a competition between CTB and private bus owners, the drivers, and apart from that, private buses and private buses also, there is a competition because they call passengers as Cali. Api Cali ganda thamai yanne, Cali pasu pasa ambayana, because they every time they need passengers, because if they don't get passengers, so they are not able to get their income. So therefore this system is there. And now let's say if we takes the buses that are operated from Narayanpeta to Fort 103, very short distance, but they have a competition. But the buses from Colombo to Jaffna, they have a competition. Buses from Colombo to Badulla, CTB competition, private competition. So because they are going behind passengers and they need passengers. So but if we are able to introduce this particular system, so definitely the driver knows that if he has obtained 22 marks, so his driving license is cancelled. It means his job is lost. So therefore, they adhere with road rules and regulations. And apart from that, I mean, if we take the statistics in respect of the deceased who faced with fatal accidents, so the majority number is riders of motorcycles. So 1/3 of the deceased persons are motorcycle riders. Then apart from that, the others are pillion riders and the persons who go on three-wheelers. So they are the vulnerable groups in respect of road traffic accidents. And sometimes the passengers, and apart from that, the number one riders, then the pillion riders, the number three, in respect of deceased, they are pedestrians. They are pedestrians, so they don't go on vehicles, but finally they are the victims or they are the deceased of road traffic accidents. So annually 15,000, I mean, grievous hurt, injured cases are reported. So they are permanently disabled or partly disabled. So in order to prevent this system, number one, we are going to introduce this electronic driving license system. The law is there. Law was introduced in 2009. Now it has been completed almost 11 years. But then thereafter regulation came, and the other facilities have been improved, the legal enactment, everything. But infrastructure is being developed. So number two, the developed countries, they use the second system in order to curtail road traffic accident is the CCTV cameras. Generally, the Colombo city has been covered by 104 CCTV cameras. So we adopted this system in 2011. Now it has already been completed 9 years. But we are going to expand this particular system to other main cities like Kandy, Galle, Kurunegala, especially Matara, these areas. And we need to introduce a legal system or the legal enactments in order to deal with this issue. Now, according to our existing legal system, there is the provision that if we get this video clips, we can prove a case, but there is a procedure. So it's a very long-term, procedure. But apart from that, we are in the process of introducing laws in respect of CCTV footages. Now, many countries, especially the countries like Great Britain, France, so they have adopted this system. So if the camera detects that particular traffic offense, so automatically spot fine is gone to the resident of that particular vehicle owner, and he should pay within a period of 14 days. So otherwise, so they are summoned to the court. That particular legal system has not been developed in our country, but we are in the process of developing that particular system in our country. And in addition to that, especially we need to draw our attention to the regularize or regulate this driving schools in the country, because we had several discussions along with the Motor Traffic Commissioner General to regulate this. There are various type of driving schools in the country. So some persons, they are qualified and they are qualified to conduct trainings, but others, third party people are there. So thereafter, straight away they come to the place where the driving license are issued and they obtain the license. But that particular system should be regulated. So then it is benefited to the general public. And apart from that, we have already introduced a system and a reward system for the traffic cops who are on roads, because if they are encouraged, the traffic, especially being the DIG traffic. So I function as the DIG traffic from 2017 to 2018, mid-18. So during that period, I was able to detect 100,000 drunk driving cases, 100,000 drunk driving cases per annum. So that is the biggest number that ever we detected in the past. And especially the traffic cops who were on roads have been rewarded 5,000 rupees, because the fine is 25,000. So we paid 5,000 rupees for the detecting officers. So therefore, some traffic police officers, because they have been encouraged and they are rewarded. So therefore, sometimes they never limit their duty to 8 hours. So they go to the road and they detect cases and they detect drunk drivers. So drunk driving is one of the biggest problem, because 1/4 of the accident happened due to drunk driving. So therefore, these are the measures that the Sri Lankan police, along with the Law and Order Ministry or the Defence Ministry and our stakeholders such as the Motor Traffic Commissioner's Department or the RDA. So we have taken in order to curtail road traffic accidents and in order to prevent road traffic accidents and traffic congestion.
Okay, way to go, DIG. I think from what you explained, the technology which is going to bring discipline, and the discipline is which is going to bring more safety to the public. Great to hear. So let me
give 1 minute. So sometimes sure. I might please permit me to leave the conference in another 15 minutes time. Okay.
Okay, sure.
I have
sure.
another.
Thank you so much for your presence, and thank you so much for your value addition and answers. And we really respect you spending your valuable time with us.